Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the polls of Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Ladies and gentlemen, insanity continues, otherwise known as the month of December. Here's what we're going to talk about in this show today. First and foremost, Nebraska is going to go to the Pinstripe Bowl to play Boston College. I got thoughts, I got quotes, I got things that hopefully you find interesting about that. And yes, I am excited for the bowl game. I'm not going to be like, we got to get to a bowl game, got to get to a bowl game, got to get to a bowl game. Oh, I don't care about the bowl game. That's just me personally. I'm excited. It matters for multiple reasons that I'm going to lay out here in a second. Number two, Scott Frost to UCF. I didn't do an instantaneous gut reaction, but I'm putting it in this one. Number three, the college football playoff chaos. I'm here for it. And I've got an alternate team that should have been at number 11. I'm just saying. Keep an open mind. All right, first and foremost, if you're like me and you believe that the bowl game matters because we haven't been there in a long time, the extra practices. Since we last had a bowl game, Wisconsin has had I know they're not going to a bowl game this year, but they have had 105 bowl game practices to our 0. Okay? Until last week when we had our first two since 2016, 2 practices. That is also speed and strength and conditioning, as opposed to guys just sitting around going to class studying. They're in there lifting, they're in there working, they're practicing, they're getting better, they're developing. All right. Also, okay, a lot of times in these bowl games now, it's the first game of the next season. Matt Rule has said that USC found their starting quarterback, Miller Moss, in the Holiday Bowl against Louisville. I couldn't think of the team's name. I know they ended up starting someone else, but for the first 9 games, he was a pretty good quarterback. And then they actually gave Jaden Maivea some time to develop as well. So there's pluses and minuses. Also, we're 6-6. We're playing for a winning season. I think that matters. Okay. Also, our bowl record over time is 26-27. I'd like to get that up to at least 500. If you agree with me for any of those frickin' reasons, smash the like button. Also, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe, ring the notification bell. Tomorrow's the transfer portal. It opens. It officially opens. It's going to be chaos this week. I'm here for it each and every day. All right, and I'm going to be putting out a show in just a few hours later tonight on Sunday evening talking about Nebraska's transfer portal needs and targets. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's a quote from Dana Holgorsen. Love this dude. And I quote, "We need to win this game." Talking about the bowl game. The fact that Nebraska hasn't been to a bowl game in 8 years, I was going to look up the last time we won a bowl game, I didn't take the time to do so, is just mind-blowing. I can't fathom it. We need to take advantage of this and go have a good performance in the bowl game, end quote. Again, that was Mr. Dana Holgorsen. Nebraska will make its return to the postseason in New York City. All right. As the Huskers have been selected to play in the Bad Boy Mowers. I didn't know that was the whole name. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Nebraska will meet Boston College in the game set for Saturday, December 28th at Yankee Stadium. The game will kick off at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern Time on ABC. All right, this is the first ever meeting between Nebraska and Boston College. It marks Nebraska's first meeting with the current member of the Atlantic Coast Conference since 2015. I think the last time we won a bowl game was versus UCLA. And that San Francisco bowl game played out there. I digress. Look it up. And the 17th all-time bowl game against a current ACC team for the Huskers. All right, and I quote, "Our team is looking forward to the opportunity to spend the bowl season in New York City and play in the Pinstripe Bowl." Nebraska head coach Matt Rule said, "This is a great connection between 2 iconic brands in Nebraska football and Yankee Stadium, and it will be a memorable experience for our players. I have great respect for the Boston College program and the success of Coach O'Brien has had in his first season there." Bill O'Brien, former head coach at Penn State, former offensive coordinator for the Patriots, Tom Brady, the Texans. All right. When I was trying to get back in the league, I actually texted back and forth with him a few times. It obviously didn't work out. I hold no hard feelings, Bill. Don't worry. He hasn't thought about me in like 10 years. All right. Nebraska's postseason history includes a trip to New York City, defeating Miami in 1962, the Gotham Bowl. All right, marking the 3rd appearance in school history and its first bowl victory. The University of Nebraska, and I quote, "The University of Nebraska is proud to accept a bid to the Bad Boy," I just like that, "Mowers Pinstripe Bowl." Nebraska Director of Athletics Troy Dannon said, "Nebraska's first ever bowl victory occurred at the original Yankee Stadium in 1962, and we are excited to return to the postseason this year at one of America's iconic sports venues. The bowl game will be a great opportunity for our players, staff, and fans." The family and I are going. Let's light this candle. Home Alone 2. What's up? I want to meet that lady. You have to have seen the movie. Boston College comes into the game with a 7-5 record, including a 4-4 mark in the ACC. The Eagles won 3 of their final 4 games to close the regular season, with the only loss coming against SMU. Boston College also posted a non-conference victory over Michigan State. They may be a stiff opponent. All right, the Eagles are under the direction of first-year head coach, as I mentioned, Bill O'Brien. Okay, Boston College boasts a strong run defense, ranking 22nd nationally in that category while rushing for 176 yards per game. All right, this head coaching matchup between Bill O'Brien and Matt Rule will be the only second meeting in college football this season between two former NFL head coaches. The first was when Nebraska played Rutgers, all right, and Greg Schiano in the regular season. The Eagles have also been strong in the turnover department, ranking 12th nationally in takeaways and 20th in turnover margin. Boston College ranks among the nation's least penalized teams, ranking 12th in the country in fewest penalties. Defensively, Boston College features the nation's sack leader, and Donovan Ezekiel. I hope I butchered that, but I practiced it. I tried. All right, now I tried to look up an early point spread. Who's favored in this game? 5 minutes after it was announced, there's no point spread yet. So I have taken it upon myself to dub Nebraska a 15-point favorite. Seems reasonable. All right, Scott Frost is going back to UCF. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this. And some people are going to be like, well, I don't care. Why are we talking about this? Well, because he's a Husker brother of mine. He's a former Nebraska quarterback, a national championship winning quarterback, a former head coach here at the University of Nebraska. Like if Eric Crouch, Adrian Martinez, one of those guys was becoming a head coach at a Power 4 school, it'd be interesting to me. All right. Also, a former Nebraska head coach, Bo Pelini, Frank Solich. If something's going on with those guys, I'm going to be very interested. So to me, this is very interesting. All right. Frost at UCF had a 19-7 record. Before he got there, they were 0-12. Then he went 6-6, lost the bowl game 6-7 his first year. Ended up 13-0 his second season. Beat number 7 Auburn 34-27, 2017 Peach Bowl. Now he came here with a lot of fanfare, a lot of hype, a lot of expectations. Obviously, it didn't go well. 16-31 overall record, 10-26 in the Big Ten. Okay, we don't have to rehash a bunch of that, but I thought he seriously hurt himself with things that he said in front of the media. Okay, now here's why I bring some of this up. Has he learned from that? Okay, has he been honest with himself about his mistakes so he can be a better coach going forward? If not, it's going to be tough. If he has, he's got a really bright future potentially. Okay, I do remember and I've never shared this before, but the first spring game that he had, him and I talked in the locker room afterwards, and he's like, Adam, I'm treading. I'm just trying to keep my head above water. And I could tell he was frustrated. At one point he said to me, and keep in mind, he hadn't coached a game here. He hadn't done anything here yet, okay, for a regular season wise anyways. And he goes, I could do whatever the hell I wanted at UCF. And it was just like, whoa, there's some frustration there and things of that nature. Well, now he's going back to UCF is my point. That's the only reason I share that. Okay. Personally, all right, I do think he still held some grudges from 96. The media, the fans, he felt like they were unfairly hard on him. I think that affected him during his time here. He never let that go. The question is, and the reason I bring it up is, can he move on from that? And can he move on from what happened last time when he was the head coach here at Nebraska? All right, this is one place, probably the one place that would hire him as a head coach right now. Most other places would say, hey, he's been an analyst, but you're going to have to be a position coach, or you're going to have to be a coordinator and kind of prove yourself and come on back up first. So this is probably the one place they're like, yeah, come back, be our head coach. I don't know that any other place would have, but that's because, they're probably the best option for him, and he may be the best option for them because of the proven success he's had there before. He knows what to expect. He knows the landscape. Now, it's not exactly the same. College football has changed just a smidge since he was the head coach. It's not the same situation exactly at UCF either. Now, sure, they were 0-12 the year before he got there, but they were insanely talented. They really just needed some direction and someone to bring the locker room together, and he did that. He did a phenomenal job of that. All right, he was a player's coach at UCF. It wasn't the same here, but maybe he can do it again there. But he does not have quite the same talent. They've got some talent, but it's not the same, okay, as when he took over there the first time. Now, before I get my final thoughts on Scott, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, DPS Concrete Construction, also Allen Capital Group. But first, DPS Concrete Construction. If this is your line of work, like Jason Armstrong, the owner, he's constantly looking for good workers to come in and be on his team, be on his crew, work for his companies. If this is the line of work you do or the type of work you want done, go to dpsconstruction.net. Also, Allen Capital Group. If you want your mind at ease about your finances, okay, if you notice, I have notes for the show, not the sponsors. I can just speak straight from the heart. Like, these people have done my family's finances for over a decade. Our mind is at ease because they are incredibly intelligent, incredibly smart, incredibly trustworthy. They have offices in Ogallala, Grand Island, and Omaha. Check them out at allencapgroup.com. That's ALLENCAP group.com, allencapgroup.com. They have next level solutions for next level needs. All right. Now, this time, UCF's a Power 4 conference team. They're not in the AAC anymore. And Frost is going to have to find talent. They've got some there. Really good rushing attack. Their passing attack struggles, defense not great. But he's going to have to find more talent, develop more talent than he did last time. Now, he found Mackenzie Milton, who was a quarterback and a 2-star, unfortunately got hurt at the time, if you remember all that. But he's going to have to do that at a bunch more positions. All right, also, NIL, transfer portal, completely different. How's he going to handle that? That could actually help him, depending on how he handles it. Maybe not. He is in frickin' Florida, which is a hotbed for recruiting. Okay, so that's going to help him as well. Here's the deal. UCF may be the perfect fit for Scott Frost. The question is Scott Frost still a perfect fit for UCF? All right, real quick before I get into the college football playoff chaos. All right, this was put out a few days ago, but I'm kind of getting caught up. I haven't done a show in a couple days. Seems like an eternity. Nebraska staff member Phil Simpson could rejoin Matt Rule in Lincoln. All right, the expectation is he's returning from Florida State to coach outside linebackers. Some folks feel like we just traded coaches, but he's responsible for bringing in Barney McGahee, and he's a good Florida recruiter. Now, when you look at the college football playoff bracket, real quick, how does Texas dominate Georgia and lose? Here's how. In their 2 games, Texas and Georgia. Georgia wins both. Okay, here's how they lose. 13 sacks between the 2 games. 25 TFLs Georgia had against Texas's offense in 2 games. 10 in the first game, 15 on Saturday. 6 turnovers, 2 missed field goals. All right, Texas trying to win the championship in their first year in the SEC Conference. This was Georgia's 4th straight year playing in the SEC Conference championship game, and this was Kirby Smart's 3rd SEC Conference championship. Georgia beats Texas 22-19. Oregon, Penn State, a combined 82 points. I didn't know Penn State could score this many points, but Oregon they're the fastest team in the country, and that's per talking to coaches that know and are kind of jealous, to be honest with you. They had almost 1,000 combined total yards between the 2 teams. It was like 991. All right, Oregon beats Penn State 45-37. All right, now here's with SMU, Alabama. Neither one of you deserve to be in. So don't whine, don't complain. The committee said we have to honor the conference championship games, okay? And Alabama, maybe don't lose to Vanderbilt, unranked, and unranked Oklahoma 24-3. Just a thought. Neither one of you deserve to be in. So the fact that SMU got in, hey, thank your lucky stars. Alabama, I don't want to hear tears. You've gotten more mulligans over the years than anybody else. Now, that being said, I do have an alternate bracket. And in my very humble, unbiased opinion, I have a new number 11 seed that we're going to put on the screen right now, going to Happy Valley to play Penn State. Now, you'll notice the number 11 seed I have is neither SMU nor Alabama. It's the correct team that should be playing there, in my very, very, very biased opinion. If you're on podcast, all right, just know that it's the good guys. I've moved into the 11 seed playing Penn State. And I just want to look at these first round matchups real quick. They're phenomenal. You've got Tennessee going to Ohio State. It's expected to be around 30 degrees. Can't wait to watch them Southern Belles come up north and play some football in December. You've got in-state rivals. They don't play a ton, but Indiana and Notre Dame, David versus Goliath in South Bend. You've got SMU coming to Penn State again, another freezing cold weather game for a Texas team coming up north, and then Texas hosts the ACC champs Clemson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out CarrikerChronicles.com. We not only have a lot of website contributors, I did a lot of due diligence on these folks and being picky as to who could join the website. I am very proud of the folks who are on the website, from our 25 podcasts to our 10 writers and more people who honestly want to keep joining. So I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to put the list up on the screen now. I mean, you've got guys like Doc Talk, Corn Nation, Corn Craze, but there's a lot more as well. One thing I like about all these people is they're positive. Nobody's trying to push somebody else down to raise up their ship. We take the high tide raises all ships approach. Yes, we want people to watch our stuff and tune in, but there's a level of respect between all of us that exists, and the respect and the work that we're trying to put forward as well. And I always appreciate the amount of research they put in. They always try to get both sides, the full scope of everything, no matter what it is that they're talking about. CarrikerChronicles.com. Here are my 3 questions for you fine folks at home. Number 1. It's a tough one because there's some folks that don't want to root for Scott Frost. There's some folks that do. There's some folks that want to root for Scott Frost but have a hard time doing it despite what they want to do. So here's my question. Do you want Scott Frost to be successful at UCF? And keep that's an open can of worms waiting to happen. Keep the responses to that respectful, please. All right, and number 2, I believe the bowl game matters. Do you believe it matters? But here's the second part of that question. Do you believe Nebraska will win the bowl game? Are you still excited about it? And do you believe Nebraska will win? Number 3, who should be the 11th seed in the college football playoff? SMU, Alabama, or Nebraska? All right, go Big Red. And always remember to throw the ball.